and Carl is there to pick up that.
Yeah, he just... a fist, but he will not dodge the stream, and now just going to try and run away. They know exactly where his remnant is. Carl just waiting for that blink to be back up. He has another stream available. Carl just kind of trying to bait him out, and yeah, he does. Remnant is there, although he missed the screen once again. Carl, now he gets blocked in, and this is going to cost him forever. He's there as well, but he has a stampede available and does get away for the moment. Now the blink away as well. Meanwhile, March went down to Ryo up at that top lane on the AA. So again, Amplfy finding the best out of the situations that they get. Ryo will just go ahead and TP straight back towards his tier 1 tower, and well, I thought he was going to shrine up, but it's not quite available. So Carl get healed up by the Ion. They're going to jump in straight after March, but now 23 Savage is there, and the Rolling Thunder. That blink is going to cost the Queen of Pain quite a lot. Carl just way too aggressive on the blink. He really wanted the boundary, and he did get it, John, on the brighter side of things for the side of Amplfy. But your top net worth hero, you probably don't want to sacrifice for that boundary.
Oh, definitely so. It's not worthwhile for Amplfy, and that was pretty good from Jinesbrus, just posturing around that pop rune. It was a bit odd, Amplfy forcing the issue out, and Carl, he is ahead, but when you throw 5 heroes at him, 4 or 5 heroes at him, he's not going to hold up.
Radiant's middle tower be under attack. Dire's bottom tower be under attack.
Carl trying to get a Veil of Discord up now. It's fair enough. I mean, he's had such great farm. He could get it up pretty darn soon. I say he's had great farm though. The net worth has started to be taken over by Ryo on the Centaur. It looks like he's going to have a Vanguard up very, very soon. He's already got the Hood of Defiance as well. So that's going to be another big concern here for Jinesbrus, considering how tanky the Centaur is going to be. In fact, he will start going on Gunner. Gunner will just immediately remnant out of there before Jo gets in. Well, mid lane, Bebby will end up going down. Carl finds another one with that Sonic Wave and hits him almost 5k net worth now on that Queen of Pain. And that's going to be his 4th kill of the game as well.
Yeah, he has been playing real aggressive. Oh.
Might have been the 5th, but they jump out of there. Meanwhile, top lane Gunner was in trouble, but gets out. March trying to survive Carl. Here comes the Venom Scale. Savage going to try and help him out as well. They threw the Ice Blast to the top lane, but it won't really connect on anybody. Meanwhile, Carl falling low. Savage throws out another Urn Charge, and then
Radiant's
does get the dot damage at the very least, but Carl will have BDZ there on the IO, and that means he's going to be perfectly fine.
Yeah, this aggression coming out from Amplfy is really refreshing to see. You know, they've had a pretty rough run in these open qualifiers so far, but they are showing up here for their matchup against Jinesbrus, and it is certainly paying off. They have a 3k lead at 12 minutes in, 7-4. They're finding everything they want. They've got great farm on the bot as well.
Got that top tier 1 tower though. Forever gonna jump in with the Rolling Thunder. They want to go after that Gyrocopter. They'll get the Ice Blast off. The IO can't heal him up any longer, and with that, it looks like he is just basically dead. Now the Echo comes out on Ryo. They're trying to control up that Centaur, but can they? BDZ comes in and a lot of damage being copped here by the side of Jinesbrus. Here comes Carl. He looks to clean up. It'll be March that is the target for him. Meanwhile, Gunner looks like he'll just try and get out of there as well. March understands he's dead. They get everyone else out at the very least. Still, a nice trade coming up from Amplfy. They find a 1-for-2 trade. The only negative for them was, though, they lost their position 1 carry.
Oh, Gunner?
Yeah, gets caught out again. And Ryo gonna have to follow up stun into the disruption. I don't believe he has to run it out right now, though he does have remnants available. He's gonna run towards the west, try to juke them out as best he can, though Jo gonna continue keeping vision on him. And now Carl jumps in, though remnants. He's trying to juke him out. Carl saw where he went, but has no mana left to blink. Now he does. Blinks the right way, though the slide was pretty good, but he had no remnants out, and he gets the XD from Carl.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Carl's putting a clinic on Gunner right now, John. I've never seen this before. Not since the open qualifiers has someone destroyed his Ember this much.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've seen Gunner, at least in these qualifiers, have a really hard time, but he certainly has here. He doesn't have the best farm. He hasn't had the best time. 2-4 right now, and you know it's going to be hard because you're buying space for 3 Savage, and he's not quite ready to show up yet.
Oh, Forever doing a burnout right on the spot. He kind of got snuck in the Little corner there. Bit of a shame really as well. It was an easy kill there on Ryo, but sometimes Dota does Dota things, although never mind, Ryo wants to give them a kill. In fact, never mind, Carl jumps in, it was a bait. Gunner now, gonna be face down, he wants to kill, but BDZ's there to heal up the Centaur. And bait after bait coming out from Amplfy. March wants to get out, but Carl, he smells blood in the water and he wants to go for it. Even wait for the blink. He won't actually use it either. He'll show mercy. March didn't actually have much support behind him anyway. They were about to let him go, but I guess luckily for him, he does get let go by the Queen of Pain.
Yeah, that's again, it's a pretty rough time here for Jinesbrus. They're not finding anything at all, but Amplfy is doing so much work all around the map, right? We doubted the IO Gyrocopter. We said it needed time, and Amplfy is getting that time. They're all on the back of Carl, and even somewhat on Rio. They have been doing a lot on this map. They've been forcing out rotations from Jinesbrus that haven't been ideal. Now, the one thing for Jinesbrus is that 23 Savage is still on top of net worth, like just below that Queen of Pain for Carl, but he's ahead with Gyro.
Oh no. Oh, Jo, he's gonna get away here. Forever though, he will jump in and find him. So the bot lane, the Rolling Thunder kind of hit him over the Fissure, and I thought he might have just walked out of there, but not the case. Of course, I do agree with you. I mean, Savage is still doing very well on the Venojon. The only thing is, and the question I have is, how effective is a Veno once you reach that late game?
It's definitely not a super late game hero. It doesn't scale as well as the Gyrocopter. It will always be effective against that IO. I think that's a key thing. With this Venomancer pickup, I'm just not sure if you're gonna have the damage coming out to sustain you as the game goes later and later. Like, Amplfy's draft definitely scales much nicer. You have that Gyrocopter, you have the IO, you have the Queen of Pain as well, who can itemize to stay relevant, has that inbuilt mobility. Whereas the Venomancer really tapers off at some point. You're going to be riding off the back of Gunner's Ember and off of Forev's Pangolier, but neither really have the best farm.
Well, we see the Aghanim Scepter come up on a bat now, John, so to escalate quite a bit. Bot lane looks like they are having a go with the Stampede. Do they find anybody? Rolling Thunder on the relocator bat. He's going to cop the poison over that they got Bevy on the Earthshaker. A bat still falling low, but BDZ keeping him alive, and now Savage going to be in trouble. He can't get the job done, and the relocate is there. They will get him out, although a bat's still ticking out, and he will actually go down. BDZ couldn't keep him alive.
Yeah, that's one of the magical things about the Venomancer. The DOT is insane, and he has a Spirit Vessel. I'm not sure if he dropped it onto either the IO or the Gyrocopter right then, but of course just having that Spirit Vessel up takes out so much of your regen capabilities that it's pretty much gone, right? It's definitely gone. It counteracts the IO Gyro quite well. Along with Venomancer's entire kit, it just plays against that regen capability.
Amplfy now 15-7. 5k net worth lead for them. They are looking fantastic. Of course, the catch-up is going on right now from Jinesbrus. See Gunner, he's really got nothing right now on this Ember jump. Again, he's trying to go for that Maelstrom, but we're 17.5 minutes in now. So it's going to be a very, very late item pickup, especially considering he didn't actually opt to go for those drums. Looks like he kind of went halfway there, but just let go of it in the end. That's going to be due to Carl, who's currently going after Febby. He doesn't want to allow this Earthshaker to go down, although he missed the screen once again. He won't commit the Snake Wave in the end either. He'll just hold on to it. I mean, he is still 11-2 on the top, so I'm not gonna criticize the man. Just some of those screens have been really on it.
It definitely has. And if they bleed out that much, if they don't take these opportunities, you can see an opportunity for Jinesbrus to grow big. We are starting to approach a point where Febby might grab his blink, and that's going to be key for the team fights of Jinesbrus. That could be just what they need to tie up their team fight so far. They don't have that clean initiation, especially since they can't rely on Gunner right now, who has to play catch-up farm. Normally, he's the guy setting pace, but he's so far behind that he needs some space for himself right now.
Fair point.
Under attack.
Of course, like you said, with that blink, it may make all the difference. And I mean, it just feels that way as well when you see these engagements. Amplfy, they do tend to group up quite a bit. It's just you don't have any way of jumping and actually getting the job done against them. Of course, I look back at Carl and he's just continuously chasing this Ember. He will not leave the man alone. He spots him out though, misses the scream, a nice sleight of fist dodge. Gunner will be able to chain and get himself out. With with that though. Amplify, they're just going to set up for that top tier 2 tower now. They do push it in quite a bit though. Looks like a bat will back off with BDZ. Bot T1 had already gone down, and they are going after that tier 2 as well on the side of the Dire. So a bit of a push coming in from the creep wave.
Structures be fortified.
I suppose Amplify just feeling very relaxed right now. Like they know there's no need to rush this game. I mean, late game they have a gyrocopter, right? Like it used to be one of the things in late game. Not so much anymore.
Yeah.
But it is still very, very effective. Like you always have that ability to go for that Divine Rapier build if it's necessary.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Yeah,
clear out a whole team.
Under attack.
yeah, he's still that kind of hero, of course, one of the better Divine Divine Rapier carriers, but I don't think it's gonna go that late, if ever. I mean, it certainly could go 60 minutes, but will Amplify ever feel that desperate need for the Divine? It's a risky play because you have an Ember in the opposite team as well.
March gets caught out by Ryo. Swashbuckle will be there now, rolling Thunder March. He will end up going on the they jump in. Relocate was there on Febby, but they will not find the Earthshaker quite yet. Meanwhile, Savage around from going after Carl. Carlton, well, he goes down. Now the BKB from Savage. He wanted to turn around on the gyro, but they relocate out. How did Carl get so low?
Carl blinked in. He was trying to grab that bounty rune, which Jinesbrus was already postured around. He cops the Rolling Thunder and all the follow-up stuns in the world, and he just melts. Savage was there, and he landed all his spells.
At the very least, Carl understands with these kind of like more risky blinks, he needs a BKB before he, continues doing it. That's exactly what he's going for. Had he had that BKB all these times, it would have been such a different story, but once he's got that up, it's gonna be hard for Jinesbrus to try and control him up, I feel like. We'll see if that makes all the difference for Carl. He's already had a fantastic game, 11-3 now.
Radiant's middle
on the Queen of Fame, but it doesn't matter. Meanwhile, Febby bot lane gonna find a target in the IO. Gonna miss out on the gyrocopter, but it won't matter. You just take BDZ as a kill, and pretty much any kill for the side of Jinesbrus right now is gonna help the cause. And for the first time this game, I believe they do make a slight net worth lead as well on the Dire side.
Yeah, 16-9, which is great, but it's less than 1k lead going the way of Jinesbrus now. This is a really good turnaround for them. It's mainly riding off the back of 23 Savage, and this is the tendency we see from Jinesbrus, right? They sometimes fall behind that early game, but they don't let go of that aggression. They just keep giving all the space to 23 Savage, and again, he is on top of the network quite a fair bit. 2k ahead of the Gyrocopter, which isn't exactly what you want to see coming out from Amplify. Again, the Gyrocopter really wants to play around his flash farming capabilities, the ability for him to really escalating that worth.
Nice food stop in lane, just caught Gunner out of the Slide Abyss. Gunner, he does have the Maelstrom up now, and you see Amplify rotate immediately, though. They didn't have the control for him.
The rune of
Gunner will
illusion.
probably go for the BKB build on the Ember now. Once that control up against the, well, not the control, but the sustain up against the Queen of Pain, Carl, who's been making his life a living hell quite a bit now. We'll see if it makes all the difference though. Jo looking to set up mid lane. He does throw the purge out on Gunner. Gunner already losing a hell of a lot of HP. Okay in the end. They're going to go for the disruption setup, and Ryo was near the area, but they don't opt to do that either.
You know, I want to point out something, Mike. Savage, after his next build-up, he's going for that E-Blade first. He is all in on the Dagon.
I love it. This is why
we're going to be seeing that coming out from him.
This is why we love casting this team, though, John. They do all this crazy stuff that you never see, and literally 100% of the time right now, it's worked out. I don't know about this time because it's not looking as great as it used to, but is that the answer? I mean, you will just blow up the IO every time.
I mean, he certainly will. The issue is, do you have enough physical damage or control to take care of the Gyrocopter with his BKB? That I'm not sure of. They do smoke up on the side of Amplify. They understand with that BKB, it's a major reveal for them. They're going to try to find a big kill.
Bot lane. Heavy Echo Slam straight onto Carl. He's going for the kill by himself, and now the Ice Blast comes in. Can they find it? Carl, he will get out in the nick of time, and now they will relocate him. BDZ. Baby going to go for the TB play, and will make it out as well.
Wow.
So this smoke rotation really not going to end up with anything. They almost lose Carl, but at the very least, I suppose
Radiant's middle tower.
they'll at least get the Echo Slam usage. Well, they do Stampede. They're going after Savage. He's BK beat up, and now the Sonic Wave goes through. Carl trying to TP out and will not pick it out. Savage, he does end up going down, and Carl finds another in the back. March will go down on the AA. And I said that smoke led to nothing, John, but it leads to two pretty big pickups for the side of Amplfy.
Yeah, that's pretty major. It felt like Febby did waste that smoke from them, but they still find those kills, and that's gonna be big, right? You slow down the timing coming out from 23 Savage. He's a big kill. He's #1 in network. That gives you a lot more to play with. It opens up the side lanes for you to push in as well. So this tier 2 probably not gonna last too long, although it does look like Febby. Ooh.
Bot tier 2 going down. He doesn't have the Echo now for Rev. Gonna jump in with the Rolling Thunder straight on that Gyro, but again, you have BDZ already there, just keeping him up. Ice Blast will come in though. A bat is gonna cop it. They've already got the T2 tower though, so they'll happily back out of there.
Worthy tribute.
So with that, an 18-9. Slight net worth lead still remains for Jinesbrus, but Amplfy, they still hold that momentum very hard in their hands. Again, just look at Carl every single time in that quad. 13-3 right now. Just hasn't dropped off at all on this hero.
Definitely hasn't. And again, he's building up quite well. He still needs to finish up his BKB. He did sideline to another item. He has his Orchid up, and he's had his U ult, so he has that to play around with. And if you can get the proper jump in the back line, there's not much these heroes can do to defend. None of them have any defensive item to speak of, except for Savage and Gunner now with his BKB. But you really don't want to be expending that early on. You want to be aggressive with it. That's the entire reason Gunner was given all the space, so they can kind of play forward with the BKB.
Jo, Purge, Soul Catcher as well. Gunner will cop a fair bit of damage, but still be okay.
Dire's top tower be under attack.
They might go for a smoke, and yet Jinesbrus, they're going to try and get something done here. They just picked up that BKB charge on Gunner as well, so you've got a 10-second charge available. Bot lane is being pushed in by Perev, but he's keeping up towards his own tier 3, or tier 2 I should say. He does get silenced up by Carl. The rest of his team are there to back him up though. Gunner, smoke broken, he'll go after Jo. It's the first target he found, and it looks like the rest of Amplfy will probably just leave him to die. Although he does cop a fair bit of damage again from that Soul Catcher, it won't be enough for Amplfy to actually turn around and try to get them. That's just going to be another position 5 kill going to the way of Jinesbrus. But more importantly for the Dire side, their net worth lead now will rise to 3k.
Yeah, it has been slowly rising up, and that is again down to the farm from 23 Savage. He's just going around the map, really working these Plague Wards to its max, potential, and really just building up on himself. He has his E-Blade now as well. It looks like he will be going for a different item. It looks like to be the Hex first, and he has ditched the Dagon build, which is mildly disappointing, Mike.
Mom, we've got a nice dodge on the hoops from Riot.
Under attack. Gormless
We'll
swabbies.
go for the scan on the Roshan pit from the side of Amplfy, just making sure that Jinesbrus isn't up to something sneaky. I do wonder why he actually switched the item build again, John. So now he's going for a Lotus Orb, it looks like. And I kind of wonder why though. Like, for what ability are you going for Lotus Orb for?
I guess just general protection, maybe to help out his supports who don't have any sort of defensive items yet, like Febby is going to be a big one. The Pangolier is pretty important as well.
Mid lane, they silence him up as well. He does have the BKB, but doesn't want to commit it, but has to now. He'll Remnant, also Gunner, he's falling low and does go down. Carl,
That was his 10-second charge.
yeah, not great news. Carl, he knew exactly where the Remnant went, and he just chased it, and Ryo did the exact opposite, chasing the actual hero. And he had nowhere to go. That's going to make it a 19-10 now. 4k net worth lead still remains for Jinesbrus, but definitely not the... I mean, the net worth lead, I don't think it actually spells out how this game is going. Amplfy is still well and truly, it feels like anyway, in the lead.
They definitely are. I mean, there's no two doubts about that. Again, the Gyrocopter isn't falling behind as bad as you'd expect. He still has some decent itemization. It's not as fast as you'd want, but it's still enough to do work, and we haven't really seen a bot jump into those front lines all too often. They should be able to take this Roche for free as well. Whether or not Jinesbrus wants to contest is another question. They certainly could if they land their spells, and they are smoked up.
They are going to go for this Roshan counter. Roshan about half HP walking now. Looks like we'll get Kareb in there to try and scout out the swashbuckle. Savage just jumps into the poison moment. Now the Ethereal Blade, they force out the BKB from a back. Ice Blast will not connect on anybody. Ryo trying to back off as well. He had the Spirit Vessel placed, and now the Roshan getting low gunner. He jumps in. He snaps the Aegis once again. How many times is he going to do this? Now they're going after the Disruptor. In fact, no, they are going after the Gyro, but he gets relocated out. Carl going for the backlines on the Queen of Pain, but he might be in trouble. Swashbuckle Echo being committed. They want to control him, and they do find him. Now they found the Shadow Demon as well. Jo goes down. In fact, they're still going. They're going to get Savage actually on the side of Amplfy now. So it looks like Jinesbrus, they do overextend a little bit with their Venomancer. Nevertheless, they got what they came for. How many times has this man done this now?
So many times. Just Gunner, again, stealing that Aegis from the Radiant side. That's massive for Jinesbrus. They also find a couple of key kills. Carl, again, getting caught out. Very fortunate for Amplfy that a bot did manage to get away with that relocate. They do find one great counter kill in taking out Savage, and that's a really big one, right? He's the +1, he's the highest net worth right now on the entire map. But it's almost feeling like this hero is tapering off. Like the Venomancer most definitely is hitting its power spike, and you're starting to see every other hero start to come online. You're starting to see Forev really pumping that damage up. You're starting to see Gunner do some work with his hero, although it's still not completely healthy, right? He's working onto Radiance next, and that should definitely make him hit much harder. But, you know, despite the fact that Savage is tapering off, you're seeing every single hero really start to pick up the pace here. I mean, even Febby is working towards his Aghanim's. It's still a long way off, but once that's up, you're going to be dealing with a Shaker who is going to be very hard to catch out and can initiate in multiple ways.
It's very true. Maybe we'll just continue trying to farm that Aghanim's up. Down at the bot lane. Well, you look over to that Gyrocopter, John, he's going straight into a Satanic, it looks like, so a bat will look a lot better with that, though. Still, even with that Satanic, right, his main problem is going to be that Ice Blast. Now, he does have the BKB for it to, you know, to try and get it off him, but gotta be careful about that. Like, once that BKB is gone, if you haven't committed that Satanic, one good Ice Blast from March and it's basically useless.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty rough again. It's down to timing in these engagements, and Bat has had a decent enough time so far, but he hasn't really participated in most of the fights, right? He's 2-2 and just 4 assists. He hasn't been too active in the map, and that's, I mean, it's, you know, it's the nature of that hero.
Carl was going after Febby bot lane, but Febby does manage to blink away and TP's out immediately.
Radiant's middle tower be under attack.
Like Amplfy just really want to slow down this game as much as possible. Meanwhile, Savage still on the top of the net worth board as the Venomancer. He's looks like he's going for Boots Travel first, and he's got the Shiver's Guard inside the Vice queued up now on the Veno. He saw the Ethereal Blade come in handy, I suppose, up against the Gyro. They forced out the early BKB usage, but after that, it was, you know, it was just another item to have in the item slot. I guess if you timed it perfectly, it'll be pretty darn useful though.
He is definitely turning into more of a utility core. Again, all the DOTs are still great. You are starting to see a lot of counter items coming out though that can work against that. The BKBs are up. You have a couple of Yules as well. There is a smoke from Amplfy.
They jump in. Gunner, he gets caught out. Will he survive it though? He loses the Aegis. Still, he'll have a secondary life. The Poison Nova does come out. Carl, he's going straight after March in the backline. But Gunner pops BKB. Gonna go for the team, but now March still alive throughout all this. Savage cancels his own TP off March. He does lose his life, and now Savage goes down as well. A great Sonic Wave coming up from Carl. They try to find more, though. Febby trying to get the hell out of there with Gunner. They silence up the Ember. Homing Missile coming in with the relocate as well, though. Forev trying to get him off his carry, but it will not be so good. Amplfy once again winning another nil this time around. They are going to go straight into that mid-tier tower after that as well.
Yeah, that's going to be really dangerous for Jinesbrus. They don't have buyback on Savage as well, so he's not going to be able to jump into this fight. He's about 130 gold from it, so it might be up by the time that high ground is being sieged. It's still a lot of damage they're going to be taking here, and that is worrisome. You had the Aegis there on Gunner, and he just died like that, because this Ember is very paper thin. And if he keeps playing far forward like this, it's just going to be hard for him to really survive.
Now Debbie gets jumped on. Ice Blast will be there. Stop up as well. Trying to get out of there safely. Meanwhile, Fred trying to distract him, but Debbie is still in trouble with Carl. Echo is committed, but they do find the kill. Now they silence up March as well. Farev still trying to take down this Queen of Pain, but she BKB's up. She actually just blinks towards the fountain, goes to the TV plane, does make it out. Now Ryo gets a hoop snap off onto Farev. He's in big trouble. He'll swashbuckle out of there. Now the wrong thunder back in. He'll avoid the homing missile with that. Goes straight after that Centaur Ryo, although he's blinked and stampeded out now. The Ryo, he'll be safe. Savage trying to find a target. He will find Jo, but Jo really won't mind dying. They commit the Poison Nova, but it's only going to be for position 5 support. Meanwhile, Farev actually TP to the shrine. Will find a bat and BDZ, but can't really do the work by himself. So Amplfy, they do happily back off after taking that mid-tier 3 tower now. They will open up the shrines for themselves, and they do take back that net worth lead their way by about 2k.
Yeah, those are some massive wins coming out from Amplfy. They open up that mid lane, so the next time they decide to siege that high ground, the racks are pretty much gone. Right? You've shown that you can stand up against Jinesbrus' lineup again. Gunner just not having the best time. He was walking way too far forward. There were no wards in that ramp when he walked up. And gets punished hard for these really forward movements. You have to be a lot more conscious about where you are in the map. Especially since, again, your Ember Spirit didn't have that great start. It has recovered a bit, but he's still like, what, 5th, 6th in terms of net worth? Not the best area to be in as a core Ember Spirit, of course. And that is still worrisome for Jinesbrus. Again, they were bouncing back. A lot of Green Crit is still hanging on that Venomancer, who has pretty much tapered off now. And on Farev, who isn't quite completely ready to be that hard-hitting Pangolier just yet. He's going for that Basher next, and that should be really helpful in proccing those stuns and getting that control. He also needs to hold for buyback, so it's going to be a while until he has both of those up. And again, that's just time that Amplfy can use to get bigger and bigger. We're reaching a point where the Gyrocopter is just king of this game. He has that Satanic up. He has his Mjolnir up. And there's just not much you can do to stop this guy at this point. You have the tools to do it, but the defensive items are out, and he just BKBs and you have no control.
Yeah, definitely so. It's like an Agate Scepter now coming out on Ryo as well, so he's looking even better. Meanwhile, I had a look at 23 Savage is still switching his item build. He's going for a Hurricane Pike now, but just a minute ago he had the Dagon build back. Now he switches again. Looks like an Octarine core to come out. It seems like he's kind of confused as to what he can do to change the game on this hero now. And it is a very hard question to ask. Amplify, nice smoke, but Gunner will break.
Alright, Gunner finishes up his Radiance, but he doesn't have buyback. So this is going to be really risky from him. His damage just shot up tremendously, and he does give his team a bit more defense in terms of that that mischance onto the Gyrocopter, but he's still so paper thin. Like, the only defensive item he has is that BKB. He doesn't have too much HP. One stun, he's dead. So he has to play carefully here.
Oh, does get the Hex off. New Slide device coming out on Carl. Can they control him up long enough? No, they cannot. Even the Stampede being committed, but they just couldn't get there in time. It's a great attempt there from Amplfy, and had they caught him out, the game could have been over. Again, the Gunner buyback just wasn't there, but will escape. Looks like they will go into the Roshan pit once again on the side of Amplfy, though you know Jinesbrus aren't going to allow this to happen for free. They did scan it out. They'll make their way there, though Amplfy have already backed off. I say that, though Ryo is standing on top of the cliff waiting for his next opportunity to jump. Ice Blast. Show nobody in the pit. Observer will show the high ground. So both teams, at least for now, will avoid each other. They'll find a double damage down at that bot lane, so Gunnar will happily pick that one up on the Ember. This Roshan fight got just so much more dangerous with that double damage rune. At least for Amplfy anyway, though. They are still fairly strong. Looks like Amplfy will probably just at least wait out that Stampede to be available on Ryo before they go back into the Roshan pit. With an Aghanim Scepter Stampede, you probably want to have it off cooldown before you take a risk like that.
Definitely so. It just gives you so much more to play around with. That damage reduction is pretty massive. And again, the game is really tight still. It's a 5k lead for Amplfy, but you're always worried about Jinesbrus just bouncing back in. Despite the fact that, again, their pause 1 Savage just feels like he's tapered off completely. He's switched back to the Dagon build in his queue.
March is going to get jumped straight away. Carl finds him. BKB has already been activated. March can't get out of there in time. Carl does get an outside device on another. He wants Febby. The rest of the team relocating in as well. Febby is kind of between a rock and a hard place, but he blinks out. TP straight away. Surely they cancel it, and they do. They get the ult block just in the nick of time. Still gonna come in now as well. Febby to fall. He does end up going down. No buyback on him. Now they're rolling thunder. They'll go after Carl on that Queen of Pain. Gonna pops the BKB, but nobody's left around really. Or is there Carl? He does end up going down. He just popped out that disruption. Now Jo gonna lose his life as well on the Shadow Demon. And so it ends up being a 2-for-2 trade, although it keeps going. They found the hoof. Some Gunner's in trouble, but he manages to slide this, and now Remnant out. He gets the chains as well, though he cannot get the second Remnant. And so a 2-for-3 trade. There is buyback available on the Ember this time around. Amplfy, I don't know if they'll really capitalize with the Roshan quite yet, but it looks like they are heading that way, and they are going to try for it. At least try and force a buyback out on Gunnar. The Ice Blast going to come in. That's pretty much perfectly. And with that Ice Blast, that's actually just going to be enough for them to back off.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to force that issue. You are at your weakest when you get to try that Ice Blast. Again, just taking away all the regen you have is not going to be nice. So they're going to play it safe. And again, they can't secure that Roche, especially since everyone but Gunnar is up. That is still a massive team fight coming out from Jinesbrus. They still have the Echo Slam they didn't expend when you're in a tight area like the pit.
So they are going to go back to that Roshan pit now. Still 25 seconds left before that Gunnar buyback, but again, another Ice Blast is going to be perfectly on point. Abat cops it and has to go back. Even Carl complimenting the Ice Blast from March. But they will go back in this time around. Perhaps Jinesbrus not expecting this, so the scan does come out and they will spot them out. Ice Vortex to give vision as well. Here comes Ferrer, jumps in with the Rolling Thunder. He's controlling up this Gyro quite well. Even the Roshan helping out though now. They will try to get Ferrer, but the Aegis is taken by a bat. So they won't fully commit for that Roshan pit this time around. They'll just allow that Aegis to go the way of the Gyro, and I believe the cheese was picked up by BDZ, and it was. And with this, once again, Amplfy going to be in a perfect position to try and at least get a racks for themselves.
Yeah, it's going to be a much easier time. They have that cheese up as well. And you have all the region in the world, again, all the tools in the world to really secure that high ground now. And Jinesbrus has to slow down their item progression to save for those buybacks. The Aghanims coming out from Gunnar, not going to be up because he has to hold out for the buyback. You also see the Basher finally up in 4Ev. He is working towards his Ags, but he can't finish it because buyback. Like, he doesn't have enough gold after buying out the Ags to have this buyback as well. And that's going to cost him. That just means you're not going to be as well equipped. You're going to have to play a bit more defensively. But, you know, Jinesbrus is not the kind of team to have that sort of patience for the most part.
That's very true. Meanwhile, 23 Savage, John, what is he doing? He's got 7k gold now. He still hasn't made a decision as to what item he wants. He's been with this item build for at least 10 to 15 minutes now. I'm kind of curious, I mean, like, what does he just go for the full Dagon 5? Does he actually go for the Octarine core at this rate? Like, what does he do?
I mean, we'll see. Sooner or later, he's going to have to spend it.
Blade though, Ryo jumps in, nice hoops not coming out. They're going to go straight after Savage once again. He pops the Nova, he knows he's probably dead here. Abat though, diving pretty darn deep, but he has the Aegis and Savage still does end up going down in the end, but They found the Aegis and now a bat. He's just driven way too far. He must know he's dead at this point though. Is there a relocate coming out? Not quite. He does heal himself up with that Satanic, but that's all there's going to be. BDZ roaming his way in though. He doesn't actually have relocate, but the Sonic Wave is going to be nice. Still though, they already found the gyro. Now BDZ just wants to get the hell out of there. He will just tether around. Though Gunner catches them off guard. They do get the Silent Device on the Ember now though. And here comes Forever and Febby. They really want Carl and that Queen of Pain. He wasn't there. Chains were there as well. And that Pop, she's falling quite low though. Raya trying to help out. She does blink out in time though. Forever misses the swashbuckle. Ice Blast will also not connect. And Forever is going to make the chase. Will lose the Queen of Pain. They may get BDZ. Meanwhile, Ryo has been left alone. He has Jayo in the backlines, and there's the disruption coming out. But that's really all going to be. It's really going to be the only help Ryo gets. Meanwhile, BDZ is still alive, and Forever's the one in trouble. And does end up going down to Carl. Ryo's still trapped up by himself, but he finally goes down. And meanwhile, Jayo, he does get caught up by Febby in the end. Though I say that he's still not dead, but Gunner will pick him up with a sleight of fist. A very prolonged team fight between these two, but it looks like Jinesbrus probably came out on top. In fact, I say that, but there was 2 buybacks. So although Amplfy did lose the Aegis and the gyro, in the end, wasn't those 2 buybacks, they may just be happy with that.
They definitely are, right? This is the one thing that you've been waiting for. They don't get any objectives from that siege. I mean, they just dive way too deep. But again, forcing those buybacks by itself is already big. That opens up the high ground next time you decide to siege it. Although I wonder if it's at this point where Amplfy was gonna wait for that next Roche, because, you know, with that one Aegis, you already lost your Gyrocopter. Granted, he did dive way behind those tier 3s without any of his teammates to back him up. Will they wait for the next Aegis before going for that high ground? Possibly. That might give a bit too much time back to Jinesbrus, as the Roshan is still going to be up perhaps in 4 minutes. We'll find out in 4 minutes when it's going to be up, and that might be enough time for Jinesbrus to farm up 1 big item or 2. It brings their buybacks even closer. Of course, that still means about a 3-minute wait by the time the Roshan is set to perhaps spawn up. So you're starting to run out of options here. You do have the Gunner Ags up, so that Ember Spirit Ags now up, his 25 up as well with a remnant charge time. So that might be...
There's
yeah, that might be the difference here.
Yeah, you got Febby's axe and you've got Forever's axe on the Pango as well. So it may be the difference. I feel like it should be, but Amplfy, they're just playing so darn well. It's hard to imagine them making mistakes that Jinesbrus can really capitalize on. We'll see though. Looks like Amplfy are going to start committing some pressure into that mid lane once again. Jinesbrus understanding they need to stay back, defend that high ground. That's exactly what they'll do for the moment. Looks like there will be a Lincoln Spear coming out on Gunner as well, and that's going to be very necessary up against that Queen of Pain especially. Like, she's got a Bloodthorn up now. It's going to be so darn painful to deal with unless he does have that Lincoln's up. Even the Sight Device, of course, as well. Just something to block at least one of those abilities from those items. Might catch up Gunner top lane. They are making their way up. They do spot him out. So it looks like it's only a bat that was in the kill attempt. Still, again, making their way up. This Black Cannon's going on, and Gunner, he'll just remnant out immediately, but a bat does clear out the full creep wave once again. Meanwhile, Ryo is actually going for a refresher orb. So you're going to have that double Stampede available, which is going to be pretty devastating considering he already had that Aghanim Scepter. It's going to be a long time of just running very, very quickly above cliffs for the side of Amplfy once he has that up.
Yeah, it's not only that, but the damage reduction is really the key thing here. Just 14% off for, what is that, 8 seconds? That's going to be a massive amount of time where Jinesbrus damage is just not going to do too much. Do they have the sustain to wait out those 8 seconds if a refresh does come out? I don't think so. We've already seen these heroes melt quite fast. So they're not going to be able to stand up to that reduction coming out from Amplfy if they do get that refresh up in time from Rio. And again, it does look like Amplfy is actually just going to be waiting out that Roche. So There's a minute and a half left until we find out when it's going to respawn, but it's still a long time until those buybacks are up from Jinesbrus. Unless they can delay the game once that Roche is up, they're still short about a minute when the Roshan might be set to respawn, so it's going to be a bit rough. They can't give away the Roche at the same time. It's going to be hard for them to contest, because once they die, that's it.
It's very true. This game is so back and forth, but it has gone back Amplify's way, even Dota Plus stating 72% win chance for the side of the Radiant now. Of course, they do lead by 9k in terms of gold as well. Do you see Mjolnir pick up from Carl? So he's pretty much at his limit. He doesn't even have treads right now in the he does have it in the backpack, but he won't be using
Radiant's bottom tower be under
I think
attack.
there's so much more. Maybe a refresher orb for Carl would be nice. Maybe even the Aghanim's upgrade from the next Roshan, if it does come up, would be nice.
Yeah, I'd reckon one of these guys needs to pick up a Nullifier. That will just secure your kills on Gunner. It will secure your kills on basically any single hero. That's one item we sometimes don't see in the late game. Nullifiers are very useful, and I feel like Carl would be the best here to pick that up. It's just he's gonna have to sacrifice an item for it. Looks like he'd probably throw that Veil out. I think that's very worthwhile for a Nullifier. It just gives you so much more at this point compared to Veil.
Where's my pension?
I disagree with you on that. We'll see what he does opt for though. Roshan will be spawning up in about 30 seconds from now, John. Ryo, mid lane, just kind of hanging in the tree line with Forev. Both having pretty much the exact same idea. Forev shows himself, but Ryo will not make the jump. Still Roshan. Do scan out the heroes in the Roche kit at the very least, but it is still 5 seconds away, and that Ice Blast gonna be a bit mistimed, which is really unfortunate for the side of Jinesbrus now. So again, they should pretty much be aware of what's going on. Top lane though, Gunner gets caught out, but pops the BKB. Now Carl falling pretty low, the Remnant's out. Carl is being chased down, they popped the Stampede as well. Can he find this kill? Carl, he missed. Gunner dodges it though, Ryo found the hoof stop. They will find the trade. Those are some long respawn times, and Forev thinking about rolling Thunder. He will not. But they have the hoof stop, it looks like they are jumping. Forev does give it this time around. Now remember, he does have the accents, a lot of damage coming out with those swashbuckles. Ice Blast will connect. No, they won't. A bat does get away with it. It just barely misses him. And so a 1-for-1 trade. I imagine the gold for Jinesbrus was a lot more because Carl was just worth more money at the moment. But without that Ember, this Roshan's just going to be so much harder. The buyback, he's 350 gold away on the Ember Spirit right now. That's a real shame because I believe they're just going to have to let this one go. Meanwhile, BDZ has a Desolator up as well.
Yeah, he has a 25 time, and that's the only time to go for it. So, when Gyrocopter Black Cannon, that is going to be quite the show, Mike.
Nothing wrong with a bit of a lighting show. This Dota game done. We are 52 minutes in after all. Both teams just playing on edge with each other. Now with the Aegis, the Cheese, and whoa, did they get an Aghanim upgrade? Is that what happened, or did they get a Refresher Shard? I didn't quite see it.
I'm trying to check.
No, they did get the Axe upgrade. Yep, the Aghanim's Blessing is on the Centaur Ryo right now. Looks like he's holding it for the Queen of Pain, Carl. I think that is the right decision anyway. Like, having that low cooldown Sonic Wave is really going to hurt Jinesbrus. They will get started though back. Going to copy Ice Blast. Does have the BKB, but Debbie jumps in. A lot of damage being dealt, and now they just take him out. Aegis gone. Rax is pretty low. He BKBs up this time around in a bat. Who does he go for though? He thought about Febby, but Febby's out of there. He gets the Rax, but now the BKB's gone. They're going to try and punish here. Poison Nova comes out. Those Savage BKBs himself up as well. And it looks like that's going to be the end of that. You just don't have that lockdown without the Ember Spirits, so they couldn't really keep going. And so Amplify, although it costs them that Aegis straight away, they do get the mid-Rax, which they've been trying to get for a very, very long time. And I suppose Amplify would definitely consider that well worth it.
Definitely so, right? That's the one objective they've been throwing their heads against the wall for. They managed to finally take it out, but you are still a bit worried, right? You're starting to see a bat can actually be burned down by the heroes on Jinesbrus if he's just a bit too far forward. And he wasn't exactly that far out. He was teetered up from an IO. You were seeing the attacks flying out. It's just that at this point, the damage is starting to come out from the other heroes, and you just can't be as far forward as you were earlier on. You could say the same thing about Gunner. He's been really far forward, and it really has been costing them for a while.
Radiant's middle tower.
Pretty far forward right now. He gets jumped on straight away. BKB up, relocate is not quite there. They're going to try and fight this out, and Forever actually dropping low, but doesn't roll away and TP's out. Gunner, meanwhile, will run it out as well. They do have Ryo in the backlines on march, so he will probably end up dying, though. He tries to TP with the Glimmer Cape, and he gets disrupted. JL will find him in the end. They'll find the AA at the very least. They don't find anybody else. And Amplfy, I thought that was a pretty far forward positioning from a bat, but it was a bit of a bait.
My searing gaze.
They keep going. Fisher is there. Carl gonna get jumped off. Heavy wants it. They do jump in. Carl's so down low, but doesn't end up dropping. He BKBs up himself, and now he gets healed up by the IO. They jump in. They want that Earthshaker gone, though. He gets out as well. Call down will do absolutely nothing, but the Flat Cannon will. Now the Remnants. Gunner, who's he looking for? He goes after that Queen of Pain again, trying to get some sweet revenge, but you have BDZ there, and now the Sonic Wave does connect. Meanwhile, Febby, he found Mayo. Ryo, why are you on a cliff, sir? It doesn't matter. They found Frev on the Pango. Buybacks coming out left, right, and center. They still know where that central is. Still, though, the Earthshaker about to drop, and they've lost Febby. Ryo will buy back after his death, though, and Febby does have his own buyback. They're still going to bat. BKB's up once again for him. He's back in there, but look how low he gets. He just melts straight off the bat of Carl. He found 23 Savage. Can he take him out, though? Febby jumps back in. He doesn't have Echo, though. Meanwhile, Ryo going after Gunner. They're going to find this out, but the Sonic Wave will connect this time around. He does have buyback. He'll have to commit it straight off the bat, though. Meanwhile, 23 Savage actually does finally pick up the Dagons after the Octarine call. I don't know how much of a difference it's going to make at this rate, but he has got it. There's the buyback coming from Gunner. He jumps in straight away, though. He can't afford to die right now. The game's pretty much over. Febby jumps in, but they're both in trouble. The Cycle Blast comes out. It looks like Amplfy. They may have done it. Gunner goes down. Two buybacks or diebacks there. Carl goes straight after March to the backlines. A celebration relocate coming in for 23. And with that, John, it is all over. Amplfy, they will take a game off the side of Jinesbrus. They still end up top of the group nonetheless, but they will not go undefeated.
That prize win, and a very welcome one for Amplfy, of course. That does bring them into the upper half, 3-2 now, and trailing behind them is 496 at 2-2. But this was really important for Amplfy. They recognize that. They take this win, a very surprising win over Jinesbrus, and that is refreshing. It's been a while, again, since we've seen Jinesbrus